A little while back, I made a little video, you see, talking about how The Walking Dead was the best show on television. Yeah, The Walking Dead is the best show that I've seen. Well, you know what? Fuck The Walking Dead. Fuck The Walking Dead. Not dissing it in any way, but it is nowhere near the best show on television right now. There is a show out there that is better than it in every conceivable fucking way. From acting, writing, atmosphere. Fuck it. Game of Thrones, yo. Yes, Game of Thrones is the best show currently on television. You know what? Fuck that. It's not just the best show that's currently on TV, it's the best show I've ever seen. You know what? Fuck that too. It's not just the best show I've ever seen, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. And I'm not even sure where to even begin talking about it. Where to begin? Do I start with the amazing characters? The political intrigue and backstabbing? The amazing world the story is set in? The moral grayness that you don't really see in many other shows? Well, I don't know, maybe I haven't seen enough TV shows to come up with that conclusion, but you get what I mean. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Well, I think I'll start with the characters. This show is filled with likable characters you can root for, and some are so reprehensible you want to reach into the screen and shove a spear up their ass. This show has a really cruel way of taking real likable characters like Ned Stark and killing them off in the most horrible ways. While the evil dickheads like Joffrey, holy fuck, I want to kill this inbred hillbilly psycho blonde bitch and his blonde bitch mother, it's so fucking bad. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them! Excuse me. Anyway, the reprehensible dickheads like Joffrey and Cersei continue to live on. I can't even remember the last time a TV show or even a movie had a character that boiled my blood to the point where I wanted to just reach into the screen and strangle them. The actors do an amazing job of making us hate these characters, and the writers and the actors also do a great job of making us love characters like Ned, Robb, and Arya Stark. But those are the characters that always get the unjustifiable, brutal deaths. As a matter of fact, this show could be summed up with one line from the Season 4 trailer.
If you want justice, you've come to the wrong place.
That's pretty much the show. It does such a fantastic job of setting up the world, its politics, and how each and every one of the characters fits into it. The honorable, loyal people like the Starks are the people we like and root for, but in this world's politics, they're the people who always lose. In this world, when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. And in this world, the heroes lose. Usually, in most other fantasy stories, the heroes would rise up and defeat all odds. In this story, they lose. Because they don't know how to play the game. This really stands out from pretty much all fantasy stories. Lord of the Rings, for example, focuses on the heroes fighting big battles and winning. This show concentrates on the politics behind those battles. Marriages to form alliances, backstabbing, outwitting of foes, the works. Politics here is not pleasant. And like I said, in this game, the heroes lose if they're not willing to be as cunning and treacherous as their enemies are. This makes possibly the most realistic fantasy world ever conceived. Now, the Starks, of course, aren't the only likable characters in the show. Far from it. There's likable characters from every corner of this cutthroat world. And even from the worst family of them all, the Lannisters. Tyrion Lannister is by far the best character in the show. Peter Dinklage is a fucking amazing in this role. He's provided some of the best lines and scenes in the series. In every scene he's in, he just steals it. His confession is one of my favorite moments from anything. I pissed myself laughing. Every time he's on screen, he's outwitting everyone around him and getting rid of those who are a threat to him. Daenerys Targaryen starts off as a scared little mouse who's pretty much just a sex doll for her horse lord husband Khal Drogo, but over time she gains confidence and she becomes a completely different woman by season 3. I can hardly believe it's the same character. And she had, by far, one of the most epic moments I've seen in anything. I mean, this show is filled with interesting and likable characters. And even though a lot of the characters we root for die, there's still plenty more to fill the void. And some characters we even hate at first, but as the series goes on, we actually grow to like them. Case in point, Jaime Lannister. God, I hated this character at first. He attacked Ned Stark, killed his men, and was an all-around honorless, shitty-ass cunt rag. But then he spills the beans on his past when he killed the Mad King, which got him the name Kingslayer, and when he saves Brienne from a bear. I then grew to actually really like the character. I couldn't believe I was actually starting to like him when he got his hand cut off and when he was getting manhandled by the Stark Bannermen. I was just like, wow, something must be really wrong with me because I'm actually starting to feel sorry for this guy. Or what about his father, Tywin Lannister? This guy is a douche to his children, and all he cares about is his legacy and his family's legacy. But the scenes he has with Arya Stark, he actually seems to like her as if she was the daughter he always wanted but never had. And during these scenes, I was actually really beginning to like the guy. As a matter of fact, Arya Stark has some of the best interactions with characters on the show. Like, the show has no shortage of interesting or likable characters. And it also has no shortage of interesting storylines for those characters. And also, the show really likes to play with your expectations. Things you want to happen probably won't end up happening. Daenerys Targaryen and Khal Drogo's relationship, for example. At first it was loveless and nothing but forced sex. But over time they began to fall in love, and they were going to have a son. But then Drogo and her son dies. Oh, come on, show. At least let the son live. Or Jon Snow's and Ygritte's relationship. This was another thing that I wanted to work out. But alas, it doesn't. Oh, Game of Thrones, why must you be so cruel? You know, I almost wonder why I even keep watching the show. Like, especially after the Red Wedding. Like, I was ready to give up after that. But I keep watching because there's still plenty of interesting, likable characters that I can root for. And it's worth it because just to see where the politics and the balances of power in Westeros will shift. And it's also building up to a confrontation between Daenerys' dragons and the White Walkers. Which, by the way, have got to be the scariest fucking fantasy creature I've ever seen in any fantasy story. Game of Thrones is a show where the heroes lose and the bad guys usually win. It's a world that has no justice, and the likable characters are the ones that get killed off. It's a complex world of backstab politics with fantasy elements. But no matter how bleak it gets, it will still have plenty of likable characters to root for, and it's still worth seeing just to see where the politics and balances of power in the world will shift. It's my current favorite show of all time, and something tells me I won't be through with it with just this one video. If you agree or disagree with this video, be sure to discuss in the comments section, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also be sure to check out my blog at The Critical Canucks at blogspot.ca, and also be sure to follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook, all that jazz. Links to all those are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be seeing you next time. Peace out, everybody.